This is the inventory for the Portuguese Jewish community of Amsterdam. It's inventory number 334, Archiven de Portuguese Israelische Gemeente, Portuguese Jewish community. And they have this big explanation. And if you do English translation, if you don't speak Dutch, you can read all about it. And it's actually, this is a really good overview of it. Like, it's very, very in depth. So it's a lot of information. But I'm going to put that down. And where I am, I'm in this inventory. And so you can see involvement with bakers. Now I'm actually more used to going through this all in Dutch. So it actually throws me off doing it in English sometimes because I'm so used to the Dutch. But I guess just to do the English. Oh, okay. Register containing regulations for the bakers and lists of persons admitted to this office by the Parnassum, 1736 to 1759. Regulations for the women who must hand over the shroud, with list of names of women admitted to the office by the Parnassum, 1755 to 1789, and then 1736 to 1789 is basically the whole record set is what that end part is. But basically, this record set is really interesting because there's a lot of history or historical context to it. So one big historical piece is that at this time, Jews in the Netherlands were not allowed to join guilds. And to become a baker, you had to be in a guild. Well, Jews wanted to make matzah, and they had to follow kashrut. They had to follow proper kosher procedure. And so they basically had to, have a Jew with a baker to help them bake. And so this was allowed, and that's what these records are part of, or that's what they are about. So it's basically the Jews selected by the community, the Portuguese Jewish community, and where they're baking. Now I don't remember the full deal of how it worked with them working with the bakers, or I don't even know if it was them necessarily working with the bakers or how it worked. It's something that I actually, whenever I go to Amsterdam, I'm kind of hoping to learn more about. But it was a very useful piece of genealogy for my family in figuring out what happened to Jacob Nunes Vaz, who I believe is my 8th great grandfather, something like that. 8th, 9th great grandfather. But basically, we didn't know what happened to him. The records kind of just ended in Amsterdam. And what ended up happening was I learned about these records from Tone Thielen. And so I decided to go through them. I had like a feeling like I was going to find my family in there. And I was definitely right. So the beginning of the book kind of just goes over the regulations of it. So you can see the different numbering. And this is in Portuguese. So if you speak Portuguese, which we know Gazillion does, then this will be really something you can read. But here we start with the records. So we have the first records, and it's kind of like crossed out, and it's like they're all starting. I don't know, but instantly, like you see, like basically second, third page, who do we have? Jacob Nunes Vaz. And we knew at this time, based on all of the records of the community, there was no other Jacob Nunes Vazes in the community at this time. The only other people in the community with the Nunes Vaz name at this time were Jacob's children, his wife, and then there was one other guy, Aaron Nunes Vaz, who is there, who we have no clue how he's related, but basically we don't know how long he was there. He just got married at some point. But even if he had children, Aaron was married in like 1720 something, so it's very unlikely that these would be his children working there. I guess there's a possibility for that, but we basically know it is my ancestor. And so it says where they're doing the baking. And then at the top, this is where I guess Gazillion can come in and kind of tell us exactly what it says. But basically, my understanding is, so here, this SS, it's like Kahal Kados do Muhammad, or maybe not Kahal Kados, that'd be KK. What was the SS stand for? I can't remember. Cool. Yeah, Falcao, yeah. Hawk, Falcon, yeah. And Patrick Jones, the Amsterdam Archives website is great. I found records on my 10 times greats from the 1620s. Yeah, the Amsterdam archives are absolutely amazing, and the Dutch archives in general, just in general. And it's largely because of the law there that says that they have to make basically, it's whatever records were created by the government that are digitized have to be available online for free, or if they're online, they have to be available for free. I forgot exactly the exact way it works, but that's why like everything's available and for free. The archives just get to go and digitize it all, and yeah, it's awesome. So with these records, we didn't at that point when I was looking through these records, we didn't know exactly when Jacob died. So you can see here, I know now where he died, but this is how I figured it out. So 1735, and all I had to do was just keep going through and see where is he coming up. So he keeps coming up in each list. We just have to find him. So Jacob Nunes Vaz down here. Then we have Jacob. Where is he on here? Oh, he's not in this list. Oh, wait, no, he's here. But you can actually see, so they got it backwards. So this was not that common where they would do this, where Jacob Vaz Noon, this is Jacob Nunes Vaz. Someone just wrote it wrong and they must have just said whatever. But then we have Jacob Nunes Vaz again. I literally just saw him down here towards the bottom. And so we have Jacob Nunes Vaz. And now it's 5497. So now we're looking at 1737 about. And this one is really interesting. So I'm curious what Gazillion thinks this, or what Gazillion reads this as. But basically, this is Esnoga dos Tudescos. So the synagogue of the German Jews, the Ashkenazi Jews. Ugh, spammers. Getting spam calls like crazy. If anyone else gets tons of spam calls, throw a cell phone emoji in the chat, or some sort of phone emoji in the chat. It's been going crazy for me lately. But anyway, yeah. So I don't know exactly. Na chua da Esnoga dos Tudescos. So just keeping going through Jacob Nunes Vaz, and he's there for a while. So here he is at the bottom right there, Jacob Nunes Vaz on this page. Jacob Nunes Vaz. Now, one thing that I kind of did think was interesting, Moshe d'Aguilar, and that's interesting because I'm related, or I did send from Moshe d'Aguilar as well through a different line of my family. I thought I was going to be able to see it from here, but yeah. Not a big deal. So, but I also descend from the d'Aguilar family, so not my only ancestor to be making matzah in Amsterdam in the 1730s. So Jacob Nunes Vaz up here, got the name backwards again. And then Jacob Nunes Vaz is right there. Second, Vesper Street. In the street of the German synagogue. Yeah. I only know Esnoga means synagoga because of your videos. Yeah. So now 5500 Hebrew year. That's about 1740-ish. And so Jacob's still matzah making. So we see him here. Herestrat. Then the street of the Jewish or the German synagogue, yeah. And then continuing on, 1741, he's still there. Jacob Nunes Vaz right there, spelled the Vaes way. So you'll notice how fluid the surnames are too. Very common thing at this time, not just in this community, but all over the world. And so it's 1741, and I believe that last one we saw, this page right here, where he's listed right here, and then he's gone, 1741, right? So looking through the list, no Jacob Nunes Vaz, no Jacob Vaz Nunes either. And looking through the list some more, and like going through the page, he just doesn't show up anymore. So to me, it was like, okay, so something happens in 1741. What could have happened in 1741? And one of the things that I had remembered seeing was that some trees had listed him as having died in Livorno, Italy, where he was born. I always thought that was just an anomaly of someone saw that's where he was born. They just put it as his death date. It got copied and copied. And that's a common tale, unfortunately, in the genealogical world. But I figured, okay, well, let me look into it. And at that time, there was this website set up that's no longer available. I don't know if the records are searchable anymore. So this is the details on it. And this is the website that is no longer available, not found. But I went there and I looked in the death records, and lo and behold, 1742. This is I'm glad I took a snapshot of it. Let's try to make it smaller. So this is 5502. So this is the Jewish, the Jewish death records, and then you can see underneath it March 1742, and down at the bottom, who do we see? Jacob Abram Nunes Vaz, Keve de Amsterdam, from Amsterdam, and he dies in 1742. And so with this, along with the fact that he disappears from these Matzah records in 1741, leads me to believe that in 1741, he went on a trip from Amsterdam to Livorno, Italy for some reason, and then died while he was there. Because this is March 1742, and I forgot exactly what the last one he's listed on this one is. We're going to look it up. 22 Kislev to 25 Sabat. So we're going to do Heb Cal. So we're going to do, it was 22 Kislev, 25 Sabat. 25 Shavat. And that's 5501. So February 11th, 1741 is the last record of him that we know he's in Amsterdam, and then a year and a month later he's in Livorno, deceased. Now at this time in the 1700s, I don't know how long of a trip it would necessarily take to get from Amsterdam to Livorno. I don't know if they would go over the mountains. I don't know if they would go by boat. I know that there was a lot of people going by boat, especially from Amsterdam to Portugal, or not Portugal, Amsterdam to Livorno, being both were port cities. But basically with that, with these Matzah records, along with this death record from Livorno, I feel like that's very strong evidence that that's how he died. Interesting. It looks like there was a catastrophic earthquake in Livorno in January 1742. Huh.